is causing this that you're just putting a Band-Aid over? And there's confounding issues that are all souped in together.
And no one's the same. That's the thing. It's like, how much of it is environmental factors? Like, I can speak personally. I have developed some like low-grade form of ADHD. But not because I was born.
What does it mean?
Meaning, okay, so like in the past, I could read books for hours and hours on end, right? Like I loved reading books. Due to how much I engage with social media, and I'm someone who tries to monitor this stuff. I was on a flip phone last year for like 6 months out of the year. I mean, like I try to limit this stuff. But because so much of my job is on social media and Twitter, and I'm scrolling, and the scroll is so addictive because you context switch so much, so fast, that it's like my brain, when I try to lock into a book, it's like it takes me a bit. And I'm somebody who likes to read a lot. I'd say I was like a voracious reader, especially as a kid. And like as I get older, I'm having to sit down, and it's more like work. I have to intentionally like, okay, I gotta read this book. I'm gonna cut myself from distractions, and I have all these apps on my phone to try to limit the amount of like screen time that I have, because I know this is bad for my brain. So I don't know. For me, I'm like, Adderall is not a good solution for me, because my problem is not that I was born with this issue. My problem is I'm on my device, and my device is literally overstimulating my brain to when I don't have that overstimulation. I'm just sitting in a quiet room with a book. Now my brain's like, well, where is it? Where's the interaction? So for me, I think the answer is, okay, for me, I just have to unplug more, right? And that's what I try to do. But for somebody who says, I was born like this, I can never pay attention, like, is the answer, some people say Adderall helps them. What do you say to those people? So it like, that's what I mean. It's like, it
Adderall
seems like
definitely
an
helps
environmental.
Yeah. Well, I think, you're addicted to your phone. For sure.
Yeah.
Most people
are.
Yeah. I am very fortunate that I'm not addicted to social media. I'm addicted to watching YouTube videos, which is a totally different animal.
Yeah.
And I'm also addicted to watching YouTube videos on things that I enjoy, which is better. So I've filled that gap with things like I watch like fight videos and professional pool matches. It stimulates me in a way, but I'm not engaging with this context switching constantly, like scrolling on Twitter. I go to Twitter maybe 5-10 minutes a day. I go and I see what the fuck's going on. Like, what is everybody mad at? Like, who's in trouble? Like, I'll shit scroll.
Such a funny way to describe Twitter. It's so accurate, too.
But I do not post.
Right.
If I post and ghost. I just post and I leave it alone. I don't read the comments ever. Mm-hmm. I don't read any of my comments. And
I think that's great.
That is very important for famous people. It's very, very important, because I have friends that don't, and they'll come to me and, you know what they're saying? I go, how do you know what they're saying? Like, what do you give a shit?
I watch people ruin their lives by looking at these like their screens. No, it's kind of hard, because when you first like kind of come on the scene, you get a little attention. It's like intoxicating.
And you want to engage too.
Yeah, because it's like at
these are
first
your fans.
That's fun, and it's like when you have 1,000 people watching you, like that's like beautiful.
Yes.
It's like there's this community, they're resonating. You have time to you can respond to people like intelligently. When you start to get into the millions, it's just ludicrous. It just doesn't make sense anymore, and it starts to be this like, your audience starts to become, to you, more, it feels more like a hive mind, even though it still is individuals. It feels more like, okay, how do I get a pulse of what this actually is? This is why people gravitate towards negative comments when they have huge audiences, is because they go like, well, maybe they're right. Maybe that like one guy represents the whole. Mm-hmm. And of course it doesn't, but it's like they're worried because they don't really know what their audience thinks, because it's so many people. So I know it's the right thing to do to unplug. At the same time, I'm like, okay, I have to know the current events. I have to know what's going on. So like, that's one of the worst parts about, I love what I do, but it is the worst part of my job that I feel to some extent I kind of have to have my finger a bit on the pulse to know who's into what's big. But then after that, the discipline is like unplugging.
What I have found is that if something is big enough that I need to pay attention, I'll find it. I find it through other methods. I find it through friends. I have so many friends like, do you know about this? Do you know about that? Like, even sometimes when people are mad at me, like, what's going on with you and that person? I go, what are you talking about? I literally don't know. And then they'll tell me, I go, I don't want to look at that. Like, leave it alone. Like, I don't give a fuck. But you'll find out. You'll find out because people are talking about it. You'll find out. Like, let the addicts scroll. Let them go crazy. But for your own mental health, it's not. And anybody who's public, like you're a public person, you engage publicly. You put your videos out, and people comment on them, and your videos get millions of views. Like, that is not an environment where you can healthily sample people's opinions. It's just not possible. And human beings are designed to look for threats. You're designed to find problems. And so if there's one person that thinks you're a piece of shit and 100 of them love you, that one person is the one you're going to think about. And you're going to go, oh.
And they're confirming your worst fear.
Yes,
like your worst imposter syndrome.
Yes.
They're like, you are crap. And you go, oh, man, I knew it.
But even for people that are just regular people engaging, like imagine people aren't talking about you because you're anonymous, but you're engaging in this very shallow form of communication that's not natural. You're engaging in a text-based communication with someone. You don't know who they are. You don't have any background on them. You don't know if they're fucking schizophrenic. You have no idea. And yet you are investing your mind and your focus on these interactions that you're having with this person. And most likely, if you're in a dispute, you're trying to win this dispute.
Yeah.
So you're trying to find reasons why they're wrong, and you're getting anxiety, and you're involved in this little sort of debate/mental battle. It's like, fucking go outside. Go do something with your life. Like, social media is fucking dangerous, but it's not dangerous if you understand it. It's like if you have a cabinet filled with cookies and chips, it doesn't mean you're going to get fat. You can always go into that cabinet every now and again and have a cookie, and you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But if you just fucking open that cabinet every day and stuff your face, you're going to get diabetes.
And what's